Welcome to my mattress comparison between the Leesa Mattress and the Eve Mattress. Two of the most popular online mattresses in the UK with quite similar backgrounds in that. They both started in 2014, which was the year there seemed to be the big explosion in the online mattress boom. Leesa actually started in the US, although by some British guys before coming to the UK. Eve started in the UK, but they both started in 2014, so quite similar backgrounds. Both have a girl's name, Leesa and Eve. You know, both have gone for this marketing thing where you give it a character, give it a girl's name. I guess they think they've done the market research, a girl's name works out better. I don't know, but that's just some of the similarities. And I'm talking about similarities because they're actually quite different, and that's why I've got these two, because they are different segments of the online foam mattress market. In that, polyfoam top layer, memory foam top layer. Also have to point out that Leesa is basically the same mattress from when it started in 2014. I say basically, it is the same mattress from 2014 in the UK. Differs slightly in the US. Now, as I say, the feel is going to be the same. If you're in the US, it's relevant for this Leesa mattress because the feel is the same, except that you're lucky in the US because you have a ceri-pur certified Leesa mattress. We don't have a ceri-pur certified Leesa mattress in the UK. However, Eve is ceri-pur certified. Point about Eve is that it's very different from when it came online in 2014. I'm pointing that out because if you do your research and you're looking at the reviews, be aware of when that review was put together, because it came to, when it was first brought to market, it was a latex top. Latex at that point, obviously, they went for something premium in the headlines. Latex being preferable, well, has better longevity. There's many good aspects about latex, such as better hypoallergenic properties, better for sleeping cool. So latex on paper in the headlines would sound a lot better. They've went for a better headline spec. They've changed their mind. So it came to the market with a 4 centimeters latex top, 4 centimeters memory foam under that. 2015 they swapped that out, chucked away the latex, put the memory foam on top at 4 centimeters, put a polyfoam layer under that at 3 centimeters. So already the 8 centimeters has become 7 centimeters. The latex has gone all together. 2017, and the current one, they then reduced those top two layers again from 7 down to 6, so both of them are 3 centimeters, the top layer, the layer under it, and it's now ceri-pur certified. But the previous versions weren't. The memory foam they're using now is very different to the previous memory foam when it was 4 centimeters. That mattress, I did actually have that older mattress, and the edge support was probably the worst I've ever come across. Much improved on this Eve. It did pong, probably the worst mattress I've had for prolonged smells. In fact, it never actually went. But this currently ceri-pur certified, one of the better mattresses I've had. In fact, I didn't notice any smell at all from day one. Leesa had a bit of a prolonged smell, but it did go. So very different if you're looking at online reviews. Don't go back before 2017. It's a very different mattress. It's a much improved mattress now. So they're very similar in that they are 100-night trials. You can actually try Eve in stores, in Bentall's, Next Home, Phoenix, Debenhams. Leesa, you can't try in a store. You have to get it online. Both are sold on Amazon. I thought it would be interesting to see how those Amazon reviews compare. Now, the thing is, I don't know how many of them offer the older versions. However, looking at what they say now, Leesa comes in with 85% 5 stars, 3% 1 star. Eve is coming in at 72% 5 stars and 9% 1 stars. So on the face of it, if you just go and buy Amazon reviews and you assume that they're all legit, I'm saying nothing. Leesa's coming out on top. However, bear in mind the memory foam top layer on the Eve is going to sleep hotter. It's just how memory foam is. And a lot of those complaints are going to be about it being hot, which is a little bit unfair because you should know that before you buy memory foam. The potential is for it to sleep hotter, is because that's how real memory foam works, by retaining your heat. Whereas Leesa, I'll get to the actual real technical points of it as I actually take the covers off and go through it, but however, it's one of the better cooling mattresses which have a polyfoam top because the Avena foam has holes through it. So it's a bit of night and day in that comparison. And also Leesa, one of the softer mattresses Eve one of the firmer mattresses. So I wonder if people, you know, potentially Eve would have more complaints because it's firmer and it sleeps hotter, which is not really fair to have that as a complaint. It's just the nature of the mattress. However, they both come in a box. They both will be vacuum packed, and you'll have to rip off the outer plastic packaging, and they will both expand, and they say, you know, within a few hours ready to sleep on. However, as with all foam mattresses, better let it to air fully 48 hours before you sleep on it. Leesa make a big play of their ethical credentials, give away 1 in 10 of every mattress they sell to a good cause. Now, if you don't want the mattress in your 100-night trial, I bet both of them will give those mattresses, those used mattresses, on to a good cause anyway. However, Leesa will anyway give 1 in 10 whether you send yours back or not. Another difference is Eve do bigger sizes in their mattresses. So whereas Leesa top out the Super King, Eve do an Emperor, which is 200 centimeters by 200 centimeters. It's a big mattress, and they even do a 7 foot by 7 foot mattress. So you get a couple more size options with Eve. So that's kind of the basic overview and a closer look at the mattresses. So in terms of fit, very different. Eve, although it has a nice kind of softish memory foam top layer, it's very obviously firm. The layers below it are very obvious, and that contrasts with the Leesa, which is one of the softer mattresses, without being too soft. For instance, I found the Simba way too soft for me, whereas this is obviously soft, but still with, you know, decent support. You don't feel any lack of support, which is why I always say, if you don't know what you want at all, Leesa is a good starting point, because it is the middle ground for the mattresses I've tried a lot now, and I think Leesa will tell you, do you want it firmer or softer? It's a middle ground, and for a lot of people it will be, you know, just about right anyway. But obviously there are a lot of other factors to take into account. So very different top layers and very different in feel. So number one difference, Leesa quite a soft mattress. Eve is a firm feeling mattress. So if you already know what you prefer, remember when I say firm, soft, it's all relative. Now people tell me they find Eve soft, but of course it's relative to, I'm saying relative to all the other mattresses I've tried. So I score Eve about 8 out of 10 for firmness and Leesa about 6.5. But that's relatively the difference that I feel. But they may both feel soft to you, and this is the thing to remember. They are relative to the other mattresses. Everybody has their own idea. You see this all the time online. 7 out of 10 for firmness, 6 out of 10. But relative to what? So I tell you, when I score mine, they're all relative to each other. So if one says 8 and one is 7, you know it's firmer. But it doesn't mean to say, for instance, the firmest mattress I've tried, Bruno. Some people, if you are a lot heavier than me, you're going to find it a lot softer than I do. So you may find them all. You may find these terribly, Leesa terribly soft, and it's not, well, even Casper, but Bruno, Eve may feel just a little bit soft to you, just nice. It's relative to your weight, your size, your body shape. Now, this is the thing to remember. So the covers. Now, again, very different covers. Now, they both feel nice. They're both 100% polyester, except that Eve actually has some spandex lycra thingy, elastane type material. Well, that's what it is, elastane. But it has spandex. It's all the same thing, just have different brand names. They say it's a blend of that, and that would give it more of a stretchy feel. Now, they both feel nice, but that does feel obviously finer, probably more breathable, and it does have a nicer feel, I think, to the Leesa. They both feel nice, but the Leesa may be slightly heavier, slightly rougher. And Leesa say you can't machine wash their cover. You should spot clean it only. They say because it interferes with the fire retardant properties of the cover. Whereas Eve are quite happy to say you can machine wash at 40 degrees. So one say you can machine wash, one say you can't. However, the Eve top, and by the way, one of the things that are glaringly obvious I didn't mention is the colours. Obviously you're going to have covers on it, it's not a big deal. However, where a lot of people find this yellow a bit nightmarish, a bit garish, a bit in your face, I like it because it makes it a little bit individual. They've added 4 stripes, Leesa cover, which is okay. It's still a little bit bland. I prefer this cover. I like some bright, vibrant colouring. I will point out that none of these mattresses can you rotate because the base is meant to be on the base. However, you can't turn them, but you can rotate them that way, and you should do, minimizing over time any particular part of the mattress retaining the pressure points that your body, for instance your hips, your shoulders, are going to put into that mattress. So it will help stave off the amount of time you can keep that mattress. So regularly rotate it. Stripes, okay, help you remember which way round it was the last time. I don't know, but then again, I suppose if you remember where the tags are on this. However, also you can remove easily the top cover if you find a zip. You know, somewhere is a zip, and I can easily, when I find it, right, so here's the zip. I can easily take this top cover off when it's on the bed frame and wash it. However, with Leesa, it's a one piece, literally one piece cover, and you'd have to pull the whole thing on its side like that and undo it from the bottom. A little bit of a nightmare if you really wanted to take it off, and they're saying you shouldn't take it off anyway, you should spot clean it in place. However, I do need to point out that. Also, I want to point out no handles. When you grab these mattresses by the sides, by the edges, the foam's quite brittle, and you will get lumps coming off in your hand. Handles on the bottom, even better on the side, but handles on the bottom are great. Eve does have handles on the bottom, which in the real world does make life a lot easier when it comes to moving it around. You can see that. Before I take the covers off, just want to show you the edge support. They are very similar. Now, I'm putting all my weight in, and of course that kind of gives way completely, but in the real world, when you're sitting on it, it comes down about that much. If I put my 40 kilo weights, so if I put 4 of these on the edge, so I've got 40 kilos, that's 10 kilo, they both give way by about 30% of their full height. So they're both pretty similar for edge support. And for a foam mattress, they're fine. You know, it's going to give, but it's not going to collapse on you. So you can get worse mattresses. You can get better mattresses for that, but they're fine for what they are. You shouldn't really expect, you know, that you're sitting anything firmer than you are. So I'm going to take the covers off and we'll have a full look at it. That's how easy the foam comes away. Every time I take the cover off, I lose a little bit more of my mattress, and you end up having no mattress. You can see, these are all the times I've actually, you know, I've grabbed it by the end by mistake. That's what happens. So, to go over the actual specs of the actual foam. So 75 kilo per cubic meter. Forgive me if I'm starting to read these things from notes. I've tried so many mattresses, I'm losing the plot of what's what. I don't want to get it wrong. So that's that. 75 kilo per cubic meter is a good spec memory foam. Orthopedic mattresses will go up to about 90 kilo per cubic meter, but will be very firm. So this is a good spec and still getting a relatively not over firm feel on what is already a firm mattress. However, first thing to point out, it's only 3 centimeters. It's just not enough, in my opinion, to get the best out of the memory foam. The point of the memory foam and the point with all these top layers is it's your comfort layer. It's not there to do anything other than give the comfort to the mattress. It's the layers below that are going to start holding your body up. So that's the difference between comfort and support. And comfort in that you should start compressing into it, but it should start filling out the gaps in your body that don't press so deep, such as your shoulders and your hips that are pressing deeper. And then you want the rest of the foam to fill that out. However, if you've only got 3 centimeters, if you're relatively big, it's not enough to do that. Now I do put a 6 centimeter memory foam top layer over this, and this is my go-to sleeping mattress now. the Eve with the memory foam top layer on it, and that gives enough support. In fact, it's a little bit too soft now, so, but the point being is a little bit more memory foam, even another 3 centimeters, even just another 1 inch makes a hell of a difference. Now, they did used to have 4 centimeters on the top layers, and obviously they've reduced it as it comes down to margins, but that is why it starts to feel firm. We call this a firm mattress, even though it's got a soft top layer, and it's because you're hitting that bottom layer very, very quick. Whatever it feels like the day you first get it, it's going to start getting softer than that very quickly. So don't be put off getting one a little bit firmer than you think you need, because it will soften up quite quickly with a lot of these mattresses. It's just the nature of foam. Even the really good quality ones do that. So this is another reason why you should rotate, to avoid one area getting pressed down for too much for too long. So 3 centimeters on the top. So the top layer on the Leesa, the headline making Avena foam. So what exactly is Avena foam? Although it's described as mimicking latex, and they say in some tests it's even more resilient than some latexes. It's still a polyfoam, and these high density polyfoams are all made to mimic latex, to have that spring back, which was the thing about memory foam, is slow response time. And I will actually show you, as I've just mentioned it, the response, that it will respond a little bit faster on Leesa than the memory foam. But that's exactly why you buy memory foam. So, you know, if I'm lying on it, I turn, it comes straight back, just like latex, and that's why they say latex-like. However, the difference will be the resiliency and hypoallergenic properties and the heat retention. So it's still not latex. So with the Eve, of course, it's memory foam. It's not going to be as responsive. So this may not, having said that, it's one of the more responsive memory foams. So it's not completely typical. It's quite responsive. So this is probably not a great way to demonstrate that it's in any way slower, which you may or may not see. But if I actually use a weight, so 16 kilos, 32 pounds is heavy. Let it sink in a little bit. And first thing you should notice is it will sink in gradually a little bit more after I've placed the weight on than it would on the polyfoam, because that is the nature of memory foam. That the foam will displace rather than compress. Now if I could take it away, pretty responsive, but there was an obvious difference. So I take it away, it'll come back, maybe only a second, but if I do that on Leesa, it should be immediate. It's a fraction, well, it's not that obvious to see because this is a softer actual polyfoam because of all the holes, but there is a difference. So I hope that you could see that. Another difference, of course, I can demonstrate with my tennis ball. 1, 2, 3, it's done. So I mean that deadens the feel. It's less bouncy, although overall it's a bouncy mattress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's another difference to the top layers. It's a bouncier layer. I have to point out, having now demonstrated that the Avena polyfoam is bouncier than memory foam. Overall, incredibly, Eve is a bouncier mattress. The layers below it, and I have to say, Eve has a higher average density of overall than the Avena, than the Leesa. It is bouncier overall. And given that it's bouncier, and I will just demonstrate that quickly in case you don't believe me. 16 kilo weight, I'll just drop that. 1 bounce, 2, but there's a definite bounce there. And if I do that on Leesa, you should see that it does not bounce in the same way. It does deaden the feel. And when you add to that, so first of all, as I said, surprisingly, against what you may think, given that the Eve is a memory foam top, that the Leesa is a polyfoam, Eve is actually bouncier overall. If you're extremely light, it may not be the case, because you effectively be much more of that bounce will be taken by the top memory foam layer. But for average people and heavier, Eve will certainly be bouncier, which normally means it's worse for motion transfer, but it's actually got better memory transfer. So the layers on the Leesa, just to point out that the way they've glued this top layer, although this is said to be 5 centimeters, and it is, if you can see the way it's been glued, it's digging into the layer below it, and so in effect you get 4 centimeters of height. They say that this is 25 centimeters, that's 24 centimeters. If I actually measured what I've actually got, I've actually got 25 centimeters on the Eve and 24.5 on the Leesa. And although that's supposed to be 1 centimeter higher than the Eve, it's actually the other way around. So the second layer is the memory foam here. But just again, this is Avena foam. What is Avena foam? Is it something magical? Marketed as a high quality polyfoam. It's latex-like. They show you they say it's, in some tests, it comes out more resilient than some latexes. Got to be pointing out that you'd have to know what those some latexes are, because you get fully synthetic, low quality blends. So you really need to know what you're comparing it with. At the end of the day, a good latex is going to be, I would imagine, more resilient than this. And they don't say better than all latexes in some tests and against some latexes. One thing to note though, however, it is a highly resilient polyfoam. It's spec'd at 50 kilos per cubic meter. Now that's slightly on the low side for a top layer. The top layer, the one that compresses the most from your body. So I would have liked it a little bit higher. However, they say that's the spec after it's had the holes indented as part of the production. You find all latexes have the holes. It's just part of how they make the latex. Now, they say that's after the holes have been taken. So that would account for why it's a little bit lower than if you had a solid slab of polyfoam that may be 55, 56 kilos per cubic meter. Now the holes, obviously the big thing about it is there to give you better cooling. You're getting some air in there, and you're going to get better cooling than if it wasn't there at all and you didn't have any air circulation. It also makes it a bit softer. So it's softer than it would be than it's softer than all the others that have a solid polyfoam on top, like Casper, for instance. And that actually means it's a little bit worse for spot relief, because there's a bit more of the foam giving because it's that much softer. Spot relief is better on Eve. Eve is very good for spot relief. Now, I'm not saying Leesa is anyway terrible, but I'm saying as a direct comparison, if that is your major concern, Eve would be better for spot relief. Now, 75 kilo per cubic meter on top layer, 50 kilos per cubic meter after the holes. So maybe a 55 kilo polyfoam there. It could, you know, it's what you would want. You wouldn't want it any lower than that. Whereas 75 kilo, a lot of them top memory foam top layers, maybe like on Otzi, I think are down to 50 kilos. That is a good spec. It's just a shame it's only 3 centimeters and I've taken chunks away from the side. But anyway, the next layer down is your memory foam here. And that is a much slower memory foam than that. I don't know if you can get any feel. You know, that's almost not a memory foam to me. Although it certainly is a memory foam, it's so fast to respond. It's more of a halfway house. It's maybe good or bad depending on what you're looking for. But that's a real memory foam. It takes that long, whereas that's like a second come out. That's a good couple of seconds to get back into shape. 50 kilo per cubic meter on the memory foam there. The same spec as the top layer. 50 kilo per cubic meter on the polyfoam layer down here. Very springy. And the base layers are pretty similar, 35, 36 kilos per cubic meter. That's a firmer base layer, I can tell you. It's really obvious to the hand. You can see all of the foam comes together to make a softer mattress, whereas that all comes together to make a firmer mattress. And that's going to come down to, is that what you want? Do you want a firmer or softer? However, there are the other things to take into account. This is going to offer better cooling. That's going to offer better spot relief, better motion transfer. Although they're similar, Eve is better for motion transfer, and that is of note because it's bouncier. It's obviously bouncier. And you would assume it can be worse for motion transfer. It isn't. It's going to sleep hotter though. They both demonstrate what differences you get depending on where you put the layers. So we've both got, the top two layers on both are both memory foam, polyfoam, except they're the different way around. It completely changes the nature of the mattress. So you're a side sleeper, you're a stomach sleeper, you're a back sleeper. Which one should you go for? And I can only keep repeating, I can't really tell you that because it depends on your body shape. However, I can say generally, as an average size, 6 foot, 13 stone, Leesa is more shoulder friendly. It's got more give at the shoulder. Now, neither of them are zoned. A lot of mattresses, even the new Casper mattress, has got zoning at shoulder level, at hip level, to give more give. So on the shoulder, if you're a side sleeper, and of course you don't want much pressure on that shoulder, you're going to get shoulder problems over time, Leesa has more give. It would be my choice if I was a side sleeper, being firmer, and if you're not using a topper, you got a problem. It's noticeably firmer on the shoulder. If you are a side sleeper, I would say Leesa. However, if you're 16 stone, maybe too much give. So you've got to factor in how big you are and the type of feel you want. However, for an average person, for me, for instance, I think I'm quite average. Leesa is more shoulder friendly. Now I spend most of the time on the back, but then some time on the side. So with a topper on here, it's fine. However, if you spend most of your time on your shoulder and you're not using a topper, I would say probably the Leesa is more shoulder friendly. However, when it comes to the back, if you're sleeping on your back most of the time, the firmness of the Eve, I think, provides more support. It's definitely better for spot relief, i.e. where you press down, you don't want the foam outside of the area also compressing, because then it's not rising up to give you the support. So more of the foam is affected on the Leesa with its Avena soft layer, and because of that soft layer, than on the firmer Eve. So Eve, I would say, for an average person, it's more back friendly, if you don't mind the firmer feel. And I think they're both fine on your front. You wouldn't want any softer than Leesa. And for an average person, probably I would say Eve is a little bit more stomach friendly, but they're both fine. Then neither of them are terrible. If you're going to sleep on your stomach, and I would advise you not to, because you're going to get problems over the long term, not least what you're doing with your neck when you're sleeping. A lot of people sleeping on the stomach end up putting their heads always to one side, and that also leads to problems, never mind your back. So you really want to be in neutral alignment the whole time. You want your head up in line with the shoulders, and your spine aligned, just giving just enough so it supports the lumbar region. So for back sleepers, for me, I prefer the Eve. However, it is a little bit firm. I do use it with a memory foam topper. One reason I like the Eve is because I think it's important to be ceri-pur certified. You do get more expensive mattresses that are ceri-pur certified, but of the ones I've been trying that are online, Eve is the only one at the moment that I have actually tried. In terms of price, obviously they all have their promotions. They're all different prices at different times. I can only go by the retail price, their advertised prices, but Leesa and Eve do seem to have similar offers, often between £50 and £100 off. If I work it out, the average of all their mattresses basically the same, £596 average for Eve, £583 Leesa. So a slight advantage in price to Leesa, but almost negligible depending on the offer you get on the day. By the way, I'm going to say the link from going to Leesa is the best offer they will have on the day from the actual Leesa website. I'm just saying that because that's the link they allowed me to have. So I was quite pleased because some of them are not even bothered about letting me have a link at all. So yeah, that was nice, Leesa. And they did let me have that for £1. I forgot to say. Leesa gave me that, let me have that. That's the second Leesa I had. I did send the first one back because it wasn't quite supportive enough on my back, and at that point I wasn't taking the reviews very seriously, and I wasn't keeping the mattresses anyway, which I am doing now. And I did say, oh, I wonder if I could get another one. Do you have any cheaper second-hand? I wasn't after a free one. Oh, I'm not going to turn it down. And they said, well, we're not going to give you a free one. We're going to charge you £1, which was fine. Well, that was brilliant. They did. So just letting you know, they let me have that for £1 so I could do some comparison reviews. They have no input into this video. The only thing they asked is that if I say anything that's actually wrong, they should be allowed to put it right. So they're not, that wouldn't change anything I've written. I wouldn't change anything in, but later on, I would have to say, oh, that was actually wrong, and Leesa pointed out. I don't think I've said anything wrong to this point, but full disclosure, I did get that for £1. And I do have the link they allow me to have, and I do get a small commission on that. It's not the reason why I do the reviews, but I'm not going to say no if the opportunity is there, am I? So to wrap it up, the obvious differences. This is Eve's memory foam top. Leesa is a polyfoam top, and it's called Avena foam. It's notable in having holes. Most of them don't have holes in the top. It's part of the production process. It means you get better cooling, but it also means it's softer. There's less material in a given space, so it's going to be less resilient down the line than if it was a solid one without holes. But having said that, all these foam mattresses will start softening up very quickly. It's just a fact. You've got to factor in. I know they say 10-year warranties, but you're not going to have that mattress for 10 years. I can assure you. It won't feel. It'll be a completely different mattress and a very soft mattress if you do keep it for the 10 years. You can't really claim for just a softening up. You can try. And I'm not saying you can't. I shouldn't have said that. Actually, but what they put in the warranty is that you can't claim till there's at least a 1 centimetre sag. But it doesn't really talk about, they talk about the softening up that you should expect. But they do talk about things like normal wear and tear. So you know, it's just something you've got to bear in mind when you're getting a foam mattress. Leesa's going to be better for cooling. Memory foam on the Eve, it's going to sleep hotter. Eve is going to feel firmer. But Eve is ceri-pur certified, which means you can be sure it doesn't have any really harmful chemicals. I'm not saying that Leesa would have, but obviously ceri-pur is a lot stricter than the EU regulations, and it's going to be low for volatile organic compounds, which is part of what you smell when you get a smell and what they call off-gassing. I didn't get any smell from Eve. I got a little bit of a prolonged smell from Leesa, but both of them are gone. I can tell you I smell absolutely nothing right now. You should take in mind, depending on how often you need and want to clean your mattress cover, even for hygiene reasons, Leesa recommend spot clean only. Eve not only has handles for easy cleaning, not only has a zip around the top, meaning you don't have to lift the mattress up, and they are quite heavy. You can then put it in, they say you can wash it at 40 degrees and then put it back. It's no hassle. There's something to bear in mind when you've got to live with these mattresses over the long term, hopefully. Which is better for sex? You know, it depends on, it's very subjective, you know, I've got to say. However, I would say the criteria for most people is a reasonable amount of bounce, but along with comfort. Eve is comfortable. Eve, you know, bear in mind it's firm, but Eve not only has better motion transfer, although they're similar, it is better. It's bouncier. You wouldn't think that by looking at the specs. So I have to say Eve does win as a better mattress for sex. I have to say it. How heavy can you be? You can have a single person up to, on both of them, 18 stone, which is 114 kilos. But so on a double, you could have 2 people up to that weight. That's what they recommend. After that, it's going to start losing its properties. So they are the same in that regard. Eve is better for spot relief, as I said. If you have particular back problems, Eve may be a better option. Depending on how you sleep, if you're a side sleeper, I would say Leesa is a better option. If you are a back sleeper, I would say Eve is a better option. And if you are a front sleeper, I think they're both fine. In, you know, maybe a bit better on Eve, but they're both fine at the end of the day. So I kind of think I went through all the differences, and I hope you got something out of this comparison, and thank you for watching.
UK